Yeah,
Sam, you keep the cam.
thank you.
Very good morning, America. Good evening, India. This is Shan Shankaran, founding volunteer of Bharat Ki Awas, and today we have Sam Petroda and the community here going to join us discuss about Indian budget 2024. I have Priyamata with me. I'll hand it over quickly to Sam for a quick introduction and his take on Indian budget. Go ahead, Sam.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Priyamada. Sorry, I've been trying to get on my computer, but there is something going on and I have to be on mobile. So the angle may not be that great. Let me try to change a little bit. Okay. Uh, Greetings, everyone from Chicago. Today, we plan to have a conversation on Indian budget. As you know, there has been a lot of conversation on Indian budget in the last few days at various levels, on TV, newspapers, social media. Huge amount of debate and discussion has been going on. It depends on where you are coming from as to what you want to say about budget. One group of people feel the budget is great and BJP has done a wonderful job and it has given everything to everybody. Other group of people very strongly feel that the budget doesn't really address the right issues related to job, inflation, income for the farmers, and people at the bottom of the economic pyramid. Budget by many is seen as elitist. Budget by many is seen more in terms of tax cuts and spending. I just saw a couple of days ago parliament debate where a friend of mine, Jawahar Sarkar, really articulated his concerns, which I thought were really presented well. His message was that this budget is really not addressing the real issues. When I look at any budget, I always think in terms of family budget. We all make our budget, either in the family or in small company or in a big corporate structure, just like the government does. While making budget, we keep in mind what our purpose is, objective is, real needs are. And I look at budget not in terms of spending and allocating money, but what am I going to get out of it? And if I cannot articulate exactly what I'm going to get out of it, I feel very uncomfortable. And my problem with this budget is just that. So when you say we'll create jobs, I want to know how many, by when. This is 2024 budget. So don't tell me that we'll create, 40 million jobs in 5 years. That's of no interest to me. What is of interest to me is what is going to happen in 2024. And that's where I have concerns with the budget. So this is what we are spending. I want to know exactly what we are getting by the end of 24. What's the output for the spending? And that to me is not very clear. It's hidden. It's sort of in a lot of words, but not in numbers. You got to quantify many of these things. Congress Manifesto has clearly outlined the real issues. And fortunately, as Mr. Chidambaram said, few things have been taken from that manifesto by the finance minister. Good. But the point is, will you quantify? our requirements for 2024. How many people will be trained? Where will they be trained? When I personally focus on job creation, I always ask fundamental question as to where are these jobs going to be created, in what sector, how many in constructions, how many in education, health, environment, manufacturing, small and medium scale industries, railways, transport, telecom, energy, so on and so forth. I remember during Rajiv Gandhi's time, under the leadership of Dr. Ashok Ganguly, some of us had worked on a specific exercise related to job creation to find out what does it cost to create one job in agriculture, health, education, construction, railways. And then that you need a lot more capital to create one job in railways and even in agriculture, because you got to create land, and land is expensive. But it takes very little investment to create one job in construction. So how can we really increase construction substantially? And that's exactly what Chinese did for the last 25 years. Chinese created huge amount of construction. Maybe it's a bubble now, but people don't realize that in the process they created huge number of jobs and made people richer. It may be a bubble right now for the big business who has invested money, but the little worker, construction worker, got his pay and improved his income. So I believe construction is a major job creator. India needs tens of millions, hundreds of millions homes, upgrading homes, maintenance jobs. Haven't yet quite quantified. So this budget is similar to the budget earlier. I don't see any big change in this budget versus earlier budgets. I don't see a major departure to address the alarming issue on job creation. And I worry about it. To me, people of India want answers to job creation, inflation, growth, economy, equity, skill development, and food prices. These are real issues that people are faced with on a day-to-day basis. Food inflation is a big issue in India right now. So I would like to have a conversation on this budget more from the viewpoint of what do we get? And I'm sure we all will have different views on it. So purpose of our group every week is to have a broader conversation and understand each other more so than be an expert on budget and really comment more as an economist or as finance expert. We are looking at more from the viewpoint of an average citizen who is concerned about his or her own budget on a day-to-day basis. From the income I have, how much money I can afford to spend on food, housing, utility, and how secure is my job. And will I get a raise or not? I think 90% of the people are in that category, even more. And maybe top 1 or 2 or 5% of the people worry about other issues related to tax cuts and savings, interest rates, and all that. So, with this background, maybe we can open up for a broader conversation. Sean?
Yes, Sam.
Thank you.
As Sam recommended, I am going to start with Jawahar Sarkar's note.
Good. Sure. Very good.
Yeah. So also today we have got Vijay Lakshmi also. Hey
Good.
Vijay Lakshmi. So we'll start with Jawahar Sarkar's review in Rajya Sabha on this, and then we'll get to the next things.
Thanks.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, by expressing my deep sorrow at the wasted opportunity of a finance minister who has been there for 7 years. Sir, I came into the budget process some 21 years ago and have drawn, helped execute budgets. I have not seen such a lackluster budget, such an absolutely atrocious budget. This is a budget that is a fig leaf for plutocracy, for a rule by the rich. Just a few examples. She starts off by saying, I let off gold, silver, platinum. This is the fact. The gold, silver, platinum are her priority. She says that when I talk of silver, the first thing that comes to my mind is a scandal in Gift City, in a particularly favored state. There is a huge scandal about import of silver. Then she says, I let off cruise ships. Sir, cruise ship koi baat hui budget mein. Luxury cruise ships. I give off angel tax. Angel tax, sir, is meant for high investment by high investors. This has nothing to do with the common man. Angel tax, I remove. To hamare liye kya devil tax hai? Baki kya devil tax thoda? She has let off angel tax. Have you thought once about small savings? Small savings, not a word about small savings, not a word about the common man. A tragedy of a finance minister who does not understand the subject and reigns from a high horse. She has deliberately avoided the names of all the states, all the important states that voted against her. West Bengal has not been uttered once. Punjab never, Tamil Nadu never, Kerala never, none of the states. We do not exist in her scheme of things. That is what I'm trying to say. She starts off by saying, we are the 5th largest GDP. Kab tak ye sunenge? You are supposed to have made it $5 trillion economy by this year. You have not. So you have lied to the nation. You have not been able to manage even $4 trillion. As Mr. Jadambaram said, it's all jugglery of deflation. It's all a jugglery of deflation. And if you have come to almost $4 trillion, it is not thanks to you. It has happened because of the people of India. As people say, it happens in spite of the government. It doesn't happen because of the government. The economic survey suddenly brings out one word of truth. I'm quoting that sentence. The Indian corporate sector profits are at a 15-year high. At a 15-year high. I don't grudge it. I grudge the 75-year low through which the poor are going. That is what my grudge. It talks of youth, the budget talks of youth, woman, poor, farmer. But what does it do in reality? In reality, it has turned itself into a user-friendly political weapon. It has created monopolies and oligopolies. It has created crony raj. And we can go on giving number of examples, whether it be airport, port, coal, solar, and even foreign contract dalali. Now we come back to the taxation structure. It was always around 50, 40, 40 to the personal income tax for poor people, and 60 was corporate tax. 60% of the corporation was corporate tax. Today, they are equal, which means we are unequal. Personal income tax has gone up from 24%. It has gone up to the 60%, 55, 60%. And corporate income tax has come down, slashed down. It's been slashed down deliberately to give them some benefit, which they never return back to the nation throughout any investment. The present calculation is that the present finance minister and the prime minister have let off 8 lakh crores. 8 lakh crores is a lot of money. It is a budget of 5 states put together. It's 8 lakh crores. They have let off 8 lakh crores of corporate tax, along with a write-off of 16 lakh crores of bank bad debts. Out of 16 lakh crores of big bank bad debts, NPAs, she has given me in writing that around 9 lakh crores are on account of Modi, Nirav Modi, are on account of Nirav Modi, are on account of Yatin Shah, are on account of other big fraud and corporate losses. Sir, with the accumulation of such a plutocratic, such an absolutely openly capitalist budget, we have landed into an inequality that is 1.5 times worse than colonial times. And it has been established. Private capital formation. Agar itna paisa inke paas hai, to capital formation to karo. Private capital formation has declined steadily during this regime. Let them contest it. Those officers who give them such papers should also give them such proofs once in a while. Taaki apne khwab to tode. Now, this has happened consistently. Now, this budget is the most anti-federal budget that we have seen in the last 20 years. The most deliberately anti-federal budget. I'll come to my state. They have declared an economic war on Bengal because Bengal refuses to subscribe to their avowed principle of hatred. We do not believe in the hatred of minorities. We do not believe in casteism. So don't come and introduce the poison of casteism in my state and say, hame vote do. No. And for that, we have to pay a penalty that is higher than many other states. We have been stopped funding on Narega, on Awas Yojana, on Gram Sadak, or even on health to the poorest. And our dues are 1.72 lakh crores. 1.72 lakh crores. We are doing Awas Yojana on our own. We are doing Narega on our own. अरे नरेगा पर इतना गुस्सापन क्यों है? जो नाम बदल दीजिए ना, महात्मा गांधी हटा के और किसी का नाम बैठा दीजिए, पर पैसा तो दीजिए, तो बनाइए ना नरेंद्र मोदी रूरल डेवलपमेंट. The only state that has been deprived for 3 years. You have declared a special war of vendetta. The Prime Minister and the Finance Minister have declared a special war against us. Please look at history. In this subcontinent, if you take out a particular region or a particular state and declare a war of vindictiveness, you are playing with fire. You are playing with fire of the emotions of the people. You have even stopped kerosene quota. ये क्या हो रहा? You talk of giving subsidy cards to 1 lakh students. Bhaiya, Bengal has given it to 11 lakh students already. आप हमें क्या सिखाएंगे? Now, even on Finance Commission grants, on which, as you know, there are no conditionalities are possible. You have started putting conditionalities. You have started, it is anti-federal because you are increasing your tax budget through surcharges and additional duties. And you are not dividing this. You are keeping this to bribe, or sorry, to reward those states that prop you up, States are full of barriers. You have talked of inflation. Now it is at inflation, the one that matters is food, and that is over 9.2 to 9.5. Vegetable market is on fire, but you look at only the fire of the stock market. The vegetable market is what? Household consumption expenditure comes out. Your cherry-picked report will not show that 43% Indians are skipping a meal. Your national account statistics of 24 shows that household incomes have crashed by 9 lakh crores in 2 years. I'm repeating, by 9 lakh crores in 2 years. Household savings have come down as a percentage of GDP. Household consumption expenditure has been shattered because of inflation. We come to this budget, when you talk of so many things that you are giving, you are not mentioning that this is on borrowed money. Never before have we relied on 14 lakh crores of borrowers. You are putting the nation into a debt. Remember 67 years and 13 prime ministers. 67 years and 13 prime ministers borrowed 55 lakh crores, 55.8 lakh crores. In 57 years, one prime minister alone has borrowed 3 times more. One prime minister has borrowed 3 times more. It's on fact. Let them refute it. And now you talk of increased budget, मैं ये दे रहा हूँ, वो दे रहा हूँ. And our debt as a part of GDP, you say, is lower than that of USA, of Japan. यार इनके पास तो क्षमता है ना. They have the capacity to repay. They don't have such a huge burden of the poor to carry on. So don't compare incomparables. You have even cut down on subsidy. On every account. On unemployment, you're on complete denial mode. Unemployment has already burnt you. The gentleman who spoke before me, his state has come down to half where his party is concerned. When I talk, my party has gone up by 20% in my state. So these are the results. Don't fool yourself. Unemployment will blow up on your face. The labor force reports are based on mythical things. You work for 1 hour, it is taken as weak employed. You work for 1 month, it is taken as your annual employment. अपने आप को झूठ बोलना बंद कीजिए. कभी-कभी सच के मुंह तो देखिए. Now, employment-linked subsidy is a new thing. Before I come to that, I will tell you that we demand a white paper on PLI. On PLI, I feel is something that we all need to look at. Because all the PLI is going to, almost all of it is going to one state. One state. In that state, Micron Industries charges 3.2 crores per job. This is a racket. This is a racket. You have to take a look into it. And if government has the capacity, let it put up a white paper on who got PLI where and for what purpose in which state. Cornering of all industries into one state, just one state, favoring a couple of other states, that's all. On health, our budget has slashed from 3% of the budget, 3% of the GDP we need, we are spending less than 1. Sir, ये क्या हो रहा? ये इतनी बड़ी बात करते ये करे. On health alone, we have crashed. On education, we have crashed. From our 6% target, we are nowhere near 3%. Sir, this is a budget meant for the rich, only for the rich, and it is a completely anti-federal, anti-poor budget and needs to be junked out. I completely believe that this is a motivated one that is meant against the poor man, against the citizen. Look at small savings. Look at the over-centralization of need. Look at the over-centralization at every level, and you know what I mean. With these words, sir, I strongly condemn the budget and the points that I've raised. I hope the Honorable Finance Minister replies in a soft, decent manner with logical fact, not anger.
Thank you.
Hello. Were you able to listen to the audio?
Yes, yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
Okay.
cool.
Thanks. Thanks, Sean.
Thank you.
It was good. Thanks, Sean, for playing this. I know it's a long one, so you have to increase the speed.
Yeah.
I hope people don't mind that, but this is one view. And, I sort of subscribe to many of the things he said, but it's not that everything in the budget is bad. I'm sure some people are happy. The question is on which side of the people you stand. Okay. If you stand on the poor people's side, budget looks very different as opposed to you stand on the rich people's side or people who are well off. One thing I didn't see much is the comment on the defense budget. But in India, we don't talk much about defense budget. It is sort of hidden. Um, but I would really personally like more conversation on defense budget. So with this, maybe we should hear from Vijayalakshmi and Premvada and others.
Sounds good. I'll go to Lakshmi first. Go ahead, Lakshmi. What are your thoughts? Welcome back.
Y- Yeah, thank you so much, Sean and Sam. And Sam, our defense budget, it's amazing that you mentioned that. For all their claims of nationalism, BJP is actually reducing defense budget, something which the BJP supporters are just not talking about this. Defense system, defense budget, every budget has reduced. And then with the Agniveer, they even want to reduce salary. So that's again another huge attack on defense. So, Modi in the last 10 years and now the third term, he's killing every sector possible, including the defense sector. So that's a big, no on his claim of nationalism. And secondly, you also mentioned that, what is this budget giving to the people? That's something which we need to focus on. And amazing part is every time I hear about the budget, I see that no sector is getting anything. You mentioned that the rich are getting something. I don't know, except probably a couple of them. I think even every industry is suffering. And this time, surprisingly, so many BJP supporters who are so-called well-off have commented on the budget and they have attacked the budget heavily on social media. There's a huge rant since the budget was introduced. So this government, I believe, does not believe in giving anybody anything. For a while, for a while the middle class was okay that as long as it's the poor who are suffering, we are safe, we can make money, we are fine. But I think over the last 10 years, the middle class and the upper middle class is also suffering. Their savings has gone down. There is no return on their investments. So they are withdrawing their savings too. So it's literally like, the money, their savings are getting smaller and smaller by the year. So even now they are realizing this government is harmful to them. Plus, Raghav Chadda's, besides Mr. Sarkar's, I think Raghav Chadda's talk on indexation, how he explained that for all that 10 rupee if we earn, 7 rupees of that goes to taxes, including GST. So, you're left with only 3 rupees at the end of the month. And this is true for all middle class professionals because there is direct tax deduction at source. So, there's no way of even escaping it. And he also explained about the real estate scam. When you remove indexation, the property that you sell, that the property over which has, increased in the last 4 years, 5 years, 10 years since you bought the property last, you'll end up paying taxes on even that money. So he has explained that beautifully well. And BJP, a lot of BJP supporters have, in fact, have agreed with him and have posted it on social media. So I believe this government is not interested in giving anybody anything, and all sectors are realizing that everything was a jungle and nothing else but that. So yes, yeah, and it's a joke how Nirmala Sitharaman is being compared to Moraji Desai, that has the record number of budget presentations. They don't realize that it's as big a farce as Modi coming back the third term and equaling Jawaharlal Nehru's record. The performance of both these people have been so pathetic that they cannot be compared to the past leaders of the Congress and other parties as well. Yeah, Sean.
Sure. That's, I think, a very great observation made by Raghav Chadha as well as you. I think people have clearly found this capital gains tax and many other new amendments they made are not very useful, particularly for those buying house and the benefits of indexation getting removed, right? So uh, in fact, somebody was giving an example of buying a house. So if you have bought a house of 10 lakh rupees in the year of 2000, and if you have sold it for 50 lakh this year, after indexation the cost might have become 36 lakh 30,000 rupees. Your capital gain is 13 lakh 70,000 rupees. You would have to pay tax of 2 lakh 74,000, but now under the new provision we have to pay a tax of 5 lakh rupees. So it's certainly pinching even the common Aam Aadmi a lot. So let's hear from Priyamada. Priyamada, what are your thoughts? You are on mute, Priyamada.
Yeah, thank you, Sean. Thank you, sir. So my observation about the defense budget is that it's just 1.9% of the total what the government spends of the GDP, and this is the lowest since 1960. So that's really pathetic. Which when we have like China border problem going on, even the army. Some of the army experts have mentioned that this is inadequate to cope with all the pressures which are international pressures as well, and this will impact the armed forces morale. Also with the Agniveer scheme, which is it's just 25% to 75% ratio, like 25% just the permanent they are going to take, and 75% will be on contract basis. This is also one of the drawbacks which will decrease the morale of the youngsters who are applying for army. We have seen lots of videos of Rahul Gandhi ji speaking to these such youngsters, and it's really a big problem. And yesterday, the MP who won from Ayodhya, he said that as soon as India Alliance forms the government, they will scrap the Agniveer scheme. So that is a good news. And also, as Vijayalakshmi mentioned about the indexation, it is really a bad thing where they have removed the indexation. And this is like the middle class, a salaried employee is paying like double taxation. It's like he's if he sells the property, he won't be able to even reduce the stamp duty. Forget, he just has the benefit of reducing the cost. There is no indexation. He can't even they can't even government is not allowing even to reduce stamp duty and other costs which are used for buying the property. So I think Modi government has really destroyed the middle class salary income groups. And even the supporters of BJP, they who are like in employment and earning salaries, they are not happy with it. And basically there's a divide now within the BJP camp as well. And I think the finance minister should rethink about the decision what she has done. And I think there should be some respite to the salary employed. Also with the railways, there is no provision of railways. Earlier there used to be a separate rail budget, but with this government the rail budget, it's just she has mentioned just one line in her budget about railways, and that is also for Andhra Pradesh, because we know their partners are TDP and Bihar. So I think this basically, as Rahul Gandhi said, this is a kursi bachao budget, which only has given importance on two states, which is Andhra Pradesh and Bihar, because the prime minister wants to save his seat. So I think that's the gist of the budget from my side. Thank you.
Even I liked the way Rahul described. There are a lot of memes. I have saved few of the memes. Maybe we will
Yeah.
have a small meme episode today, because I think one simple meme can explain 1,000 words. What we can explain in
Yeah.
1,000, we will see. So, but before that, I'll just ask a few questions or share some thoughts. Moa Ashfaq through Facebook is sharing minorities has been ignored in the budget. Telangana is ignored by BJP in budget. So I think we all acknowledge. Sam, you have any viewpoints? Many states condemned that their even names were not pronounced. So I think Tamil Nadu, Telangana, Karnataka, even I think Uttar Pradesh, they have not spelled out the name. That's
Even
how
Maharashtra, because Maharashtra BJP lost, only just have 9 seats. So Maharashtra was completely ignored. Yeah.
I think it's not about what is in it for me. It is more about what is in it for us.
Yeah.
And that's my concern. If everyone looks at budget from the viewpoint of what is in it for me, you come up with different answer. Budget is for the country. I remember when we were growing up in India, as students, we used to look at budget just to, not that we understood a lot, but what used to fascinate me in those days is that there were separate duties on separate bulbs. 150 watt bulb, higher duty, 25 watt bulb, lower duty. And that was the mindset of the budget. Okay. So, in a sense, we have come a long way. But at the same time, our debt is of great concern to me. And I think Jawahar talked about that at the end. Debt is a big issue in India. If you look at budget of every state, including Gujarat, you will know that they are basically broke. States are broke. Huge amount of money in the government budget goes to salaries and retirement and all that. Manpower normally should be 30-40%, but in government sometimes it turns out to be 80%. And these are the challenges, because then you have nothing left for maintenance, nothing left for skill development, nothing left for equipment upgradation, capital expenditure. So there are some fundamental issues that we have really not been able to tackle.
Sure thing, sir. Selva Kumar from YouTube is saying, is it a sin to be salaried middle class in India? We are paying TDS, capital gain increase, GST, etc. We don't even have social security in case if you lose the job, though we have paid a huge tax.
Agree. I think these are the issues that need to be addressed. I agree with you completely. Some kind of social security, some kind of, unemployment benefit are important part of, growing society.
The Provident Fund pension scheme do you think it needs a big revamp?
I don't know enough about that. Maybe somebody else can comment.
Sure. Prasanna from LinkedIn is saying, P. Chidambaram's critique of the GDP growth projections, particularly concerning the low deflator used in calculations around 1.75% compared to WPA inflation. What are your views on the implications of using NAS versus NSS GDP figures? How might these differences impact the accuracy and interpretation of GDP growth rates? So I think there have been a lot of conversations around changing even the way they measured. So Vijay Lakshmi, Sam, Premda, you guys have any thoughts?
I think data manipulation and data presentation is a big challenge. When somebody says we are growing at 7.5%, I don't know what it means anymore. What reference point? What data? Unless and until I get into real details, I'm not comfortable, because you can throw any number and, divert your attention from the real core issues. I've seen Chidambaram's comments. I know him well. I respect him. And he won't say these things without studying it properly.
Sure.
So he was a former finance minister. You got to pay attention to him. You don't have to agree with him. BJP can say that. That's okay. But you must pay attention to Chidambaram's comment. Sure. I haven't heard much from Monte Ahluwalia, who is another person who is closer to the numbers. And I think these are the people you need to listen to.
Sure. And Now there is a lot of opening up to the foreign investments from China. So are there any thoughts, Vijay Lakshmi, Sam?
See, there is a larger issue here, and that is, are you preparing your budget based on the economic paradigm that you have today, or you are preparing your budget based on economic paradigm that you want tomorrow? In other words, everything today is top down. Everything today is in the favor of big companies, big manufacturing plant, building multinationals, as opposed to Gandhian economy, decentralization, local production, local jobs. For example, I would like to know from this budget, how would artisan people benefit? How would tribal benefit? What kind of goods and service tribals will be able to sell? Okay. These questions are very important. The budget is not crafted with Gandhian philosophy and Gandhian economic model, which says small is beautiful. It is not crafted with encouraging small businesses. The whole thing is crafted with exactly opposite to what we need. Okay. So, to me, those are larger issues that you need to pay attention. If I was to craft a budget, I would turn this upside down completely. Okay. I would really start saying, how am I going to fund every district? And not worry about top level, but saying, if each district has 2 million people on an average, 750 district, 1.5 billion people, okay, what is the budget of the district? How much district level will go to education, health, employment generation, small and medium scale industry? Unless and until you get down to the lowest possible level, to me, district is a viable entity. Maybe in some cases you group some districts. Okay. Maybe you group 3 to 5 districts. But you got to get to that viable state. You can't say, I'm going to create 5 IITs for a nation of 1.50 billion people and 1.5 billion people and say everything is great. No. Okay. So that's the kind of mindset we need. Okay.
Sounds good, Sam. Atul Shinde, you have any questions? Atul, you have any questions?
No, as of now, no.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, Shan, I just wanted to add one thing.
Vijay Lakshmi, your voice is a little feeble.
Can you hear my voice now?
Yeah.
Can you hear me now? Okay, so one of the things I wanted to mention here when Sam said, what each district is getting. For the first time in the last 10 years, we have a government in power which has divided India into BJP and non-BJP states. So only the few BJP states we are getting, but this time even the BJP states have been made to suffer, including Gujarat and UP. That's the only two states which is holding the BJP government up. But even those states are suffering now. UP, I think, has been denied big time this time. And Priyamvada mentioned that Bihar and Andhra has got something. But, ask those chief ministers if they are really happy with what they got. I think they've also got all fluff. Bihar wants its economy to stabilize, and by giving money for building corridors and all is not going to help stabilize the economy. So you're asking for dal chawal, what you're getting is cake which you can barely digest. So that's the problem with, I think, both the states. And secondly, what we are as a world is moving towards lessening taxes, not increasing taxes. But this government has become such a blood sucking vampire that it is only sucking taxes from where we can get without giving anything in return. So Raghav Chadda's claim that, we are taxing like Europe, but, giving benefits like Somalia is absolutely right. Whatever, we are not building any hospitals, we are not building universities, schools, colleges. What we are building is some highways. Even those highways are developing crack within months of being constructed. So they are not even going to last like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, leave alone 50 years. So whatever this government is spending also is being wasted. It's not going back into people's pockets. Arvind Kejriwal, when he had first come to power in Delhi, he had spoken to traders that we will remove Inspector Raj as long as we agree on the amount of taxes you can pay sufficiently. So Delhi is one of it's the lowest tax states in the country today, and despite that, their collection actually increased because people could see that it was being spent on roads, it was being spent on schools, colleges, providing healthcare. So people did not mind, and that's true of the mindset of people in Europe too. They don't mind paying the taxes as long as they can see visually where the money is going. But in India, with this government, we do not see where the money is going. It's literally like, where is the money going? Despite increasing taxes, this government is not rich. It is struggling. Like Jawahar Sarkar said, that the debt has increased 3 times from past governments. So we are taking, not giving back. And where is all that money going? So that really needs to be questioned. Increasing taxes is not going to increase the wealth of the government. The government is not going to have more funds to spend. Reducing taxes, making people feel happy is what is going to contribute to the growth of the economy. So everybody here is suffering. I don't know who's really happy about this budget. Secondly, Arvind Kejriwal's thing is to reduce taxes, increase ways of raising funds from, and that's something even any basic economic student can teach this government. But looks like this government is not even interested in hiring experts. Most of the experts they have are yes men from the Shakha. So they are not even qualified to hold that position. Even Nirmala Sitharaman herself is such a fake economist. It's her husband who's the economist, and he's the one who's been criticizing this government. But it's amazing how this government has become so shameless that the only way out is to remove this government, not to keep them in power, because they clearly, even in their third term, after being reduced to 200 plus, they have not learned their lessons yet. So next time they have to be reduced to 120 to shut them up completely.
Even their own veteran Subramania Swamy never considers Nirmala Sitharaman knows E of economy.
Exactly.
She always tells it.
Exactly.
I think overall we need really bottom-up budget and not top-down budget.
Yes, the trickle-down economy does not work for
Does
India
not work.
at all.
Will
It
not
never
work.
trickles
Yes.
down.
But there are lots of people who have talked about it. Friend of mine, Arun Maira, talks about it a lot. And we have this group that we meet every Thursday morning of about 30 of us. We spend about an hour or so every week for last 4 years on a lot of these issues. And everyone in that group, at least, feels that we need a new paradigm for
Right.
economic development in India.
Right.
The present paradigm is not designed to meet the needs of the people. Present paradigm is more geared towards Western mindset, building economy for the rich, creating income inequality, and we have seen the results. Okay, if you really want equity, inclusion, you need to really look at bottom-up development, decentralization. Small is beautiful. Create jobs in local area, local talent, local solutions, and pay attention to skills that people have. Local
Yes,
people have a lot of skills,
yeah,
and
Sam.
we spend very little time on maintenance
Yeah,
because maintenance is Sudra's job.
right.
So we don't pay attention to maintenance, and maintenance is a big piece of the puzzle. Whether maintaining our bridges, our dams, our supply chain, power plants, schools. You look at the condition of buildings, government buildings. I mean, even when you go to Delhi, and visit all these great government offices, you realize that the maintenance is so very poor. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's terrible. It's shameful.
Yeah, all the money is going to build the BJP headquarters.
It's crazy.
Okay, Sam, before I forget, Sean, sorry to interfere. Like, there are two things that I wanted to mention. One is that, railways and the defense were the highest providing jobs to the middle class. There were a lot of people generations of people who have survived just on the defense forces jobs. So defense and railways, which was providing maximum jobs, both those are not available to the common man anymore now. And secondly, another thing is the tax is like, you mentioned that the rich are benefiting. Even that fallacy needs to be removed. Even the rich are not benefiting because there are a lot of millionaires who are leaving the country today while they can. The ones who are stuck there are the ones who cannot leave. So, there are a couple of them benefiting, but even the rich are not benefiting. That's the tragedy of this government. So, nobody is really holding this government up. So, only the way they are manipulating election system is what is holding this government up. Raghav Chadha said another one thing, that it's economics which failed this government. They did not get votes because of the economy, not because of their other agendas. The other agendas would have still survived if people had been earning something and taking home something, but they are not. Another thing is the taxes. The more you tax, the more people hide their money. They don't. Nobody's going to willingly give taxes. When will this government understand this basic fundamental? That you have to remove taxes. We have to move to a country with no zero taxes, like some other countries like Dubai has done. So, we need to follow that path rather than taxing at every opportunity. They're taxing on savings, on investments, on stock holding, on, real estate, everything. How are people going to survive with that kind of attitude?
Tajinder Man,
Yeah.
friend of mine,
Yeah, I can read it. Sam.
yeah, he says
Nothing
nothing for farmers too.
Yeah,
I agree that farmers are not happy with
Absolutely.
the plan, and no plan for youth employment.
Right.
Most villages are empty from youth, young people, and he wants to highlight this. I agree with him that young people are leaving rural areas. The main purpose of the economy should be, one of the main purposes, not the main, is to really move a lot of income from urban to rural. Today, we are not moving income from urban to rural. We are taking rural income and moving it to urban. So nobody wants to live in rural areas. With hyperconnectivity, lot of jobs can be done in rural areas. Lot can be done. When I look at big government offices where thousands of clerks are filling in forms, those jobs should be in rural areas. They should be doing it online. Okay, you should create office space empty. I'll give you an example. When I was chairman of Telecom Commission, I found out that 1.5 floors of the building was full of files. Full of files. I had office on second floor. So I told them to move all the files out of Delhi. And there was a big, opposition to that, saying, sir, we need these files. I said, whenever you need, you call in every day. Some, car can go bring all the important files. I said, look, this is prime location in the heart of the city. And how can you use 20,000 square feet to store files? Nobody thinks that way. You look at every government office, the amount of space required to store file, and people who are just moving files. And on one hand, we are talking about computerization, leader in, office automation and all that. So everything has to change.
There is a
The
huge
the court system, the justice system is also overloaded with files and old case papers, which nobody needs, but it has not been filed. Yeah, and you also mentioned how the labor class has to be benefited first. This, top trickle down thing is not working. What they need is an increase in minimum wages, which no government, state government is talking about. Again, I would like to mention Delhi here. It has the highest minimum wages in the country. 3 times more than the national average also. So, that's something which I think state governments need to follow.
But the cost of living in Delhi is also equally high.
Not as high as other states. I think it's equal to all
Okay.
metros. Not as high as the thing, because state taxes have reduced, so it's not that high. I would not say it's this, but it's as probably as much and definitely less. And then they have those free electricity, water, and all that, right? So I think part of that is being compensated. A lot more can be done. I am just saying that those are steps in the right direction. A lot more needs to be done. But this government, instead of doing more, is killing governments which is actually taking some steps in the right direction. That's the problem with this government. This government is a bloodsucker, and this government needs to be removed. It's so sad that they managed to get in, sneaked in the third time also around.
Yeah. Jayalakshmi, I have one last small episode, 5 minutes of meme on this budget. Let's see
Good.
whether this is interesting. this,
Okay,
this,
let's see.
this explains the whole stuff. Union budget. So AP
Okay, good.
got 15,000 crore, Bihar got 26,000 crore. So ultimately, it costed Modi to 41,000 crore to save his chair. Kursi bachao.
Okay, let's hear it.
What is TDS? TDS tax deducted by Sitharaman. And also this one RK Lakshman's cartoon, my reaction to the budget, I don't know, I don't read it, but anyway, you can say the poor are let down, the salaried class is hit, and it's a sellout to the rich. He has done
Oh.
this in 1989. It still says the same. Okay, and there is a lot of different interesting memes about a favorite car of Nirmala Sitharaman's tax law and different things like very interesting set of creativity people have put together, and a lot of other cartoons about these two states given a priority. Nobody is complaining, but the thing is, not other states. It's not a inclusive one where every state is taken care, right? So that part, I think everybody is able to observe and comment or visually depict. I think this is also about a clear observation on how the budgets got reduced in multiple areas. For example, defense, agriculture, health, transport, pension, energy, science, and the development of food subsidy, northeast development, social welfare, fertilizer subsidy. All of these areas, there is a reduction from the previous years. It may be looking minute for us, point few percentage, 0.02 or 0.2 percentage, but it may amount to thousands of crores actually in reality. So under there is a tax on everything. So dividend, fixed deposit, buying a house, petrol, milk and yogurt, stocks, provident fund, pencil and books, cinema hall, barber shop, health, insurance, scooter. So, and also markets fell after the speech, Sensex, and also the even the salaried class is also impacted. It's not that they are not impacted. And there is a clear commentation about the 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 individual taxes, income taxes are increasing, and government is making money out of it. But the kind of GST, corporate tax, and the wealthy is not being taxed, which is also clearly observed. So I think that's about it. It's a very small one, but still, I think people are able to clearly depict their vision why it's not working out. In fact, that there were a few others which was talking about this employment creation, for that matter, for which on which they have mentioned that they are going to create employment linked incentives now. So for which I think there are lakhs of employment they are assuring, but there are only 500 or 1,000 companies which are linked to this particular thing. So internship opportunities of 1 crore youth in 500 top companies. That means 20,000 interns per company. Is it really possible? So is it like a fakery, or I don't know. So a lot of these kind of jumlas again are being thrown as part of this budget. So with that, I think we are coming close to the end. Sam, you have any finishing thought you want to pass upon?
No, I think we had a good conversation. The bottom line was that we all agree that we need top-down approach, more decentralization, more focus on job creation, and really worry about the people at the bottom of the economic pyramid. Those are the issues which we think are not properly addressed. And we will keep watching this and see what happens.
Thank you, Sam. Priyamada, are there any other final questions from your community to discuss?
There is one from I think there is one from YouTube, but he's not typed it. He wants to ask to sir, and I think.
Go ahead.
But he is not. He's just asking. I have two questions. How can I go about asking it?
Ask it now.
No, he's on you. I think LinkedIn, so he has to type.
Oh, okay. No, that's fine. That's fine.
So just my one like suggestion, like whenever the next India Alliance government forms, we should have something, because the salaried class pays like 3 times more taxes, and basically they don't get anything in return. Whether it's healthcare, education, everything is like most of them they have to pay for their own. So I think the next government should have keep this class in mind, especially the middle income groups, because they are the ones who contribute more, but then they don't get any benefits. I mean, of course, we have the trickle down. We have to have the trickle down approach, but then the salary class on the middle, they shouldn't be ignored by the next. So they should have something, some kind of like a welfare state. I think India should go about having a welfare state budget, so that that everyone is considered and just not the corporates. I think that is the need of the hour when the next government forms in. So yeah, that's my last bits. Thank you.
Good.
Thanks a lot, Priyamata.
Thank everybody.
Thank you, Sam. Thanks.
What are the kind of subjects people would like to talk about?
In fact, Sam, you should talk about your Global Gandhi thing. You want to maybe launch it in October 2, or you want to give a quick preview?
Yeah, maybe next week we can talk about that a little bit.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, Sean, I just wanted to
Yeah,
finish.
go ahead.
Yeah.
Sam is asking for suggestions for topics. You have any, Vijay Lakshmi?
Topics for suggestion. I think we need to talk about US elections now. I think
we did last week.
Right. We can do more if you want.
Yeah. I missed that. Maybe as we are coming closer to elections, we need to talk a little more about that, because that's going to have a big impact on Indian economy as well as the world. We need a more sensible government in place, but Trump is not that. I just wanted to finish up today's thing that we need to move towards a tax-free economy, and we need to have creative ways of raising money for the country rather than taxes, because that's one concept brought in by the British, and we criticize the British. At least this government criticizes the British so much, they should get rid of this concept. And Sam, also you mentioned that we need a top-down approach. I think by mistake, we need a bottoms-up approach. I think we need to focus more on.
I mean bottoms up.
Yeah, so the poor, 80% of they make up 80 to 85% of the population. We need to definitely increase minimum wages. They are literally in ICU now. A person who could afford, maybe 3 kilos of dal with his minimum wages today can afford only 1.5 kilos. Maybe half of it is gone. So, but the income is not increasing. Inflation is hitting badly. Those things, we need a more humane budget. We do not need a budget like this, which is just sucks blood. We need a more humane and caring budget. Yes.
Thank you. Thanks for your team. And Sam, I will try to collect thoughts on in case if there are any interest on topics. But Priyamada, you have any thoughts on any different topics? Maybe US elections is one. We will.
Yeah. Actually, I want to hear it, because Trump is now, like he said, he's going to stop war, and he's talking sense now. So I'm little, because I was anti-Trump last election, but now I'm like in two minds, like what to do, because I don't know, because of whatever happened in Palestine. So yeah, but he's talking more sense. So it's interesting now. Like, yeah.
No, this week I think Kamala's campaign have got a lot of movement.
I think, exactly. That's why we need to discuss the elections after Kamala Harris's announcement.
Yeah.
What it means for the US and for India.
Maybe Sam, next week we can discuss again US elections or Kamala Harris running, or you want to hold on till that the Democratic National Convention?
Whatever everybody wants. The idea is for us to respond to what people want in the group.
I think Indian community is trying to go behind Kamala Harris. Maybe we should try see whether we can align, or what are our different thoughts. I think everybody have different thoughts. So I for that matter look up to Robert Kennedy or even Michelle Obama, but I think looks like it's ruled out. Michelle Obama is also supporting Kamala Harris now. So maybe let's talk more in the weeks ahead or next week.
I think I would rather
Yes.
talk about ideas than about person.
Hmm.
Okay, I would really avoid talking about person, but
Yeah.
focus more on their ideas and values and character and vision.
Exactly. What is happening in Palestine should not be happening in the modern world at all. And so that's one idea. If it can happen to Palestine, it can happen to any other country too.
Sure, sure.
These things definitely need to be seriously talked about.
Yeah.
So, what's your take on the attack, which, like, whatever they did in capital, like Washington, when Israel's PM was there? They attacked the Washington DC, and a lot of created ruckus. Many were arrested. So,
First of all, there is no place for violence
yeah.
at all. You got to stick to some fundamentals. Non-violence is a fundamental. Truth is fundamental. Okay. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sir.
Trust is fundamental. Human rights is fundamental. Equality is fundamental. You don't change on those things. So every time you look at these kinds of issues, you got to go back to your fundamentals. Okay. So violence can't make sense in this case and not make sense in that case. Okay, violence at home doesn't make sense. Violence against women don't make sense. Violence against children don't make sense. And violence against a nation don't make sense. Okay.
Yeah,
Hopefully,
in
say it
this
again.
in this case, Sam, none of the peaceful protests were helping. So maybe some kind of violence was needed to just awaken. That's the problem. We
I
are
understand.
living in
I
that
understand. But
situation.
then at the end of the day, somebody has to control violence.
I agree.
Okay.
I think Sam's message may be the entire protest of this Palestine Gaza thing may get diluted in case if people resort to violence. So that's where I think if they can, I think the campus protest was one of the best instrument through which they got the attention of the entire world.
I always go back to fundamentals, even my day-to-day life also. Not that I'm very successful and not that I'm very great. I'm just a normal human being. I make mistakes, but I go back to fundamentals. Am I hurting somebody? Am I helping somebody? Am I being fair or not fair? Am I being selfish or I'm reasonable? Am I forgiving or I'm not forgiving? I ask these questions all the time. And I can tell you at a personal level, you'll be surprised to know that I have no enemies. I sleep like a log. I can sleep in 5 seconds. By the time I go up and my wife comes back after 10 minutes, I'm snoring. Okay. And I can get up at any time I want without alarm. I can get up at 4 in the morning. I can get up at 3 in the morning. As soon as I give this thought to my mind that today I have to get up at 3 in the morning, I get up at 3 in the morning. 5 minutes before 3, I'm up. I don't know how it happens. Okay. So you got to train yourself on these fundamental things. And if you are not careful about fundamentals, the probability of your drifting is very high. Every time you have to ask fundamental questions. This is my list of 20 things. Am I following that list or not? Okay. And you have to be honest to yourself. Okay.
Sounds good, Sam. It was very
Thanks,
nice.
everybody. Really enjoyed it. And look forward to next week.
See you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks, Shan. Thanks, Vijayalakshmi. Bye.
So we have close to 350 viewers now, active viewers.
Good. Good.
Bye.
Thank you.